I'm having a hard time believing what I just saw. What is going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and LSU has just shocked the Florida Gators, has turned the college football playoff picture upside down, probably eliminated Florida from the playoff picture. And it was just something that I don't think any of us saw coming. You come into this game looking at LSU, it felt like they had given up on the season. You had players opting out left and right. Derek Stingley wasn't going to play in this game. And just going throughout the game, they lost a bunch of players to injury during the game. And somehow, some way, LSU upsets Florida. This was just an unbelievable upset. This has got to be one of the biggest upsets that I remember in college football in recent history. Just because I know talent-wise, LSU is a team that, it wouldn't shock anyone to see them upset Florida. But when you just look at the way they had played all year and how many players they had out in this game and how many players they really just had left on their roster, you just didn't think – I didn't think there was any chance at all that LSU would even hang around in this game. The pressure, I think, got to Florida. You start to look at that playoff, and you start to look ahead to the SEC championship. I think the pressure really got to them. We had kind of seen this from Florida for the last few games where they started slow, and this time they started so slow. They had those turnovers. They just couldn't overcome it, and LSU's confidence just kept building and building and building as the game went on. It was just an unbelievable performance by LSU, and again, I was just shocked. I just kept thinking, all right, Florida's going to make the play. They're going to come back. They're going to do whatever they need to do to win this game. It's going to be a scare. This is going to be like the Ole Miss game for Alabama. But no. And, up until that penalty, it still felt like Florida was going to win this game. They got to stop on third down. And then what has to be the worst penalty in the history of college football, Marco Wilson throws an LSU player's cleat down the field after they got to stop, gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, giving LSU a first down. They put together just enough to get into field goal range for what was still a really long field goal, and they were able to knock it through. Then Florida comes right back down. They had a chance to make a long field goal themselves, but they missed it. And as soon as the announcer said, you have to feel pretty good about this kick if you're Florida, immediately I said, all right, he just jinxed him. He's going to miss. I mean, have you not watched the Fansville commercials? I mean, come on, you can't say that. It was immediately knew that he was going to miss that field goal, and he did. And, yeah, LSU pulls off this upset. Just wanted to do a quick reaction to it. This is the first time I have done a reaction video following a game all year, just because this one just blew me away. I just did not see it coming. LSU just kept battling. When Florida came right down the field to start the second half, felt like they were going to take control of this game. And at that point, they had a huge advantage in total yards. The three turnovers in the first half really were the difference. That was the only reason LSU was hanging around in this game. Florida really dominated other than that. But if you look at the stats at the end of the day, the total yards were 609 to 418. LSU really battled back in that second half. They were very good on third downs, 8 of 18 on third downs. Max Johnson played his guts out in this game. I mean, he's not a runner, but he did what he had to do running the football. It was just a gutsy performance by LSU. Just so impressed with this team and the fight that they showed. And I think you really have to go back to Coach O. I think they were playing for him tonight, and they showed the fight that he's always showing. And it was just, if you're an LSU fan, I know it's been a rough year. Coming off of a national championship, you didn't expect to be 4-5 right now. But this win has to make you feel good. It has to make you feel good because you can look to the future and see, this young talent performed tonight. This team didn't give up, and it was just, again, a big-time win. I'm going to look at the stats here. Max Johnson, he ran the ball 18 times in this game. That was the difference. He did just enough. Picked up some third downs. Kept some plays alive. His legs really were big, and through the air, he was solid. 21 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 239 yards. I mean, that was He didn't make any spectacular plays really through the air, but he did enough. They just kept drives alive. I was so impressed with that. And then you look at the other side for Florida. Kyle Trask made some big throws. They had some big plays, but they weren't as good on third down. Kyle Trask didn't make those pressure throws on third down. Florida was 5 of 13 on third down. Not great. The turnovers again killed him. I think he probably lost the Heisman. This is rough if you're a Florida fan. Kyle Trask probably just lost the Heisman. You're not going to make the college football playoff. And based off this performance, you're probably going to get blown out by Alabama. So again, this was just a very, very rough night if you're a Gator fan, and such a great night if you're an LSU fan. But I'll be the first to admit it. I didn't see this one coming. I didn't see any way that LSU would win this game. But they did. And this was a big one. This was if you watched the video this past week, I said it kind of feels like everything's going to go according to plan. The favorites are going to win out. The playoff race, we're not going to see a big shakeup. That still may hold true because we may still have Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Ohio State in the playoff. So it may not actually shake anything up. If Alabama beats Florida, it really doesn't matter anyways. But when I said we're not going to see chaos, boy, was I wrong, because we got some chaos tonight. Again, one of the biggest upsets, I think, in the history of college football, and definitely the biggest one that I can remember in recent years. I know there's been plenty of big upsets, but this late in the season, it kind of reminds me of West Virginia when they blew their shot at getting to the BCS championship, whatever year that was. Very reminiscent of that. But if you are a Florida fan, as bad as this is, don't give up just yet. I know I said that they probably have blown their shot at the playoff. There is still a path for Florida. There is a path. It's a very, very small path, but there is a path. If they beat Alabama, which is at this point doesn't look like it's very likely, but if they do beat Alabama, that's huge. That's going to be a big win. But I don't think it's going to be enough to pass Alabama. They'll have the head-to-head, but I don't think it'll be enough to pass Alabama because you have to look at the entire season. So they're not going to pass Alabama, and they're probably not going to pass Clemson or Notre Dame regardless of what happens in that game. Now, I take that back. If Notre Dame beats Clemson, Clemson has 2 losses, yes, Florida will pass Clemson. So you really want Notre Dame to upset Clemson, and that actually might be enough. That might be enough. Texas A&M has the head-to-head. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough to make that argument. So maybe Texas A&M stays ahead of Florida in that scenario. But Texas A&M still has another game, so maybe they get upset. I mean, again, there is a way for Florida to make it, but they're not going to beat Alabama. It doesn't seem like. I mean, that's going to be a very big surprise if they do. But again, if you're just looking for some hope, Florida fans, beat Alabama, get a little bit of help, and you never know. You might make the college football playoff. But it looked like tonight the Gators threw away their chance at the college football playoff.